Commander Thekros stood on the bridge of his ship and looked at the blue planet below. His 4 arms moved across the control panels as he read the data coming from their scanners. This world called Earth was unlike anything he had seen in his 40 years of military service. The planet's surface showed massive storms that could destroy entire cities. Huge waves crashed against the land with enough force to break mountains. Lightning struck the ground thousands of times every minute. Rivers of melted rock flowed from tall mountains. The very air seemed to burn with dangerous gases. "Commander," said Dr. Veltar, his voice shaking through the ship's communication system, "I have finished reading the planet's data files. This world is impossible." Thekros turned his large head toward the scientist. Dr. Veltar's skin had changed to a pale blue color, which meant he was very afraid. His 6 eyes kept moving back and forth as he read from his data pad. "Tell me what you found," Thekros said. "Sir, this planet has creatures that weigh more than our battleships. They have teeth longer than our weapons. Some of them breathe fire. Others can crush metal with their bare hands. The oceans are full of monsters with tentacles that can grab and sink our ships." Thekros felt his own skin getting cold. In all his years of exploring space, he had never seen a death world this dangerous. Most planets that had life were safe and peaceful. The worst ones had animals that might bite or scratch. But this Earth was like a nightmare made real. "What about the smart creatures, the ones called humans?" Thekros asked. Dr. Veltar's skin turned even more blue. "Sir, that is the most frightening part. These humans are the top hunters on this world. They killed most of the big monsters. They built cities where the storms are strongest. They swim in the same water as the giant sea beasts. They climb the burning mountains for fun." The bridge became very quiet. All the other alien crew members stopped working and listened. Some of them made soft sounds of fear. "How many of them are there?" Thekros asked. "More than 8 billion, sir. They cover the whole planet. They have weapons that can destroy their own world. They have machines that fly faster than sound. They have been to their moon and back many times." Thekros walked to the big window and looked at Earth again. From space, it looked almost peaceful. The blue and white colors were very pretty. But now he knew that beauty was hiding a world of death and violence. "Sir," said his communication officer, "we are getting a message from the planet." "Put it on the main screen," Thekros ordered. The screen showed a human face. Thekros had to step back in shock. The creature looked like it was built for killing. Its eyes faced forward like a hunter. Its teeth were sharp and white. But the most frightening thing was that it was smiling. "Hello," the human said. "My name is Captain Hyunwoo of the Earth Defense Force. We are very happy to meet you. We have been waiting for friends from other worlds for a long time." Thekros looked at his crew. The human called them friends. But everything about this creature screamed danger. Its voice was calm, but Thekros could hear the power in it. This was a being that had fought and won against a world of monsters. We greet you," Thekros said, trying to keep his voice steady. "We are from the Galactic Confederation. We came to learn about your people." The human's smile got bigger, showing more of those sharp teeth. "That is wonderful. We would love to show you what humans are like. We can demonstrate our culture, our skills, and our way of life. Would you like to visit our planet?" Every alarm in Thekros' head was screaming. "Visit that death world? Walk on the same ground as creatures that fought monsters for sport? We We would prefer to watch from our ship, if that is acceptable, Thekros said. Of course, Captain Hyunwoo said. We understand. Not everyone is used to Earth's environment. We can show you everything from here. We have planned a special demonstration, just for you. Dr. Veltar leaned over to Thekros and whispered, Sir, their scans show that the human gathering military forces. Large numbers of them are moving to one location. Thekros felt his blood run cold. Were the humans planning to attack, or were they going to show off their weapons? What kind of demonstration? Thekros asked carefully. Captain Hyunwoo's eyes seemed to shine with excitement. We will show you our favorite activities, the things we do for enjoyment and to bring our communities together. You will see the very best of what makes us human. The word enjoyment did not translate well. Thekros's computer showed it as pleasure derived from violence or satisfaction from conquest. These humans found joy in fighting and destroying things. We will watch with great interest, Thekros said, though his whole body was shaking. Now. Excellent. Give us 1 day to prepare everything. You are going to love this. The human's face disappeared from the screen. Thekros turned to his crew. They all looked as terrified as he felt. Sir, Dr. Veltar said quietly, I think we should call for backup ships. Already done, Thekros replied. I sent a message to command before we started talking to them. But I fear our weapons will not help us if these Deathworlders decide we are enemies. He looked back at the planet. Tomorrow, they would see what creatures from the most dangerous world in known space did for fun. Thekros had a feeling that his reports would change how the galaxy saw humanity forever. All crew, prepare for observation duty, he ordered, and may the stars help us all. Lieutenant Jae-min walked through the busy streets of Seoul, talking into his communication device. All around him, humans moved with purpose and energy. To the alien observers watching from space, it looked like an army getting ready for war. Yes, sir, the stadium will be ready by tomorrow morning, Jae-min said into his device. We have contacted all the best teams. Everyone is excited to show our new alien friends what we can do. High above in their ship, Dr. Veltar watched the human movements on his screens. His 6 eyes moved quickly as he tried to understand what he was seeing. Commander, he called to Thekros, the humans are gathering in massive numbers. My scanners show over 50,000 of them moving toward one location. Thekros moved closer to look at the screen. The humans were indeed gathering, but something was strange. They were not carrying weapons. Instead, they carried colorful cloths and made loud noises that sounded almost happy. What are those sounds they are making? Thekros asked. Dr. Veltar adjusted his equipment. Sir, they appear to be singing. But the songs contain words about victory, defeating enemies, and claiming territory. I believe they are war chants. Down on Earth, Soo-jin was busy organizing the event. She had worked for months to plan this demonstration. As the head of Seoul's Sports Coordination Office, she wanted to show the aliens the very best of human achievement. Make sure the soccer field is perfect, she told her workers, and check that all the cameras are working. We want our alien friends to see everything clearly. She looked up at the sky, knowing that somewhere above them the alien ship was watching. Soo-jin felt proud that Earth had been chosen for first contact. Humans had always dreamed of meeting other intelligent life, and now it was happening. Ma'am, said one of her assistants, the alien ship sent another message. They want to know if we need medical teams for the casualties. Soo-jin looked confused. Casualties? Why would we have casualties at a sports event? Her assistant shrugged. Maybe they think our sports are more dangerous than they really are. Su-jin laughed. Well, I guess soccer can get a little rough sometimes. Tell them we have our usual medical team standing by. In the alien ship, this message made Dr. Veltar even more worried. Medical teams for casualties meant the humans expected their people to get hurt. What kind of demonstration needed medical teams? Sir, Dr. Veltar said to Commander Thekros, I am reading elevated stress chemicals in the human population. Their heart rates are increasing. Their body temperatures are rising. These are all signs of pre-battle excitement. Thekros studied the data. Everything pointed to the humans preparing for some kind of massive conflict. But conflict with whom? There were no enemy armies on Earth. Were they planning to fight each other? Keep monitoring, he ordered, and make sure our shields are at full power. Minho, the head of security for the Olympic Stadium, was having his own concerns. He had received strange requests from the alien ship. They wanted to know about escape routes for non-combatants and safe zones for wounded warriors. These aliens sure are worried about safety, he told his security team. Maybe where they come from, big gatherings are dangerous. He checked his equipment one more time. The stadium could hold 80,000 people, and it was going to be completely full tomorrow. Minho had worked security for many events, but never one where aliens were watching from space. Sir, said one of his guards, the alien ship is asking about our weapons policies. Minho frowned. Weapons? Tell them we don't allow weapons in the stadium. This is a sports event, not a battle. But when this message reached the alien ship, it only made things worse. Dr. Veltar interpreted no weapons allowed as meaning the humans planned to fight with their bare hands. This was even more terrifying than weapons. It meant they were so confident in their natural fighting ability that they did not need tools to kill each other. Captain Hyunwoo was in his office, reviewing the plans for tomorrow's demonstration. As a military officer, he understood the importance of making a good first impression. The aliens needed to see that humans were peaceful, cooperative, and civilized. The soccer match will show them our teamwork, he said to his aide. The athletics will show them our physical abilities, and the crowd will show them how we come together as a community. He looked at the list of events they had planned. Soccer, running, jumping, martial arts demonstrations, and even some extreme sports, if there was time. Captain Hyunwoo smiled, thinking about how impressed the aliens would be. But his smile would have terrified the aliens even more if they could see it. To them, showing physical abilities and teamwork in front of thousands of screaming spectators sounded like the most brutal form of entertainment imaginable. Dr. Veltar was now monitoring human communication channels. What he heard made his skin turn the darkest blue of pure terror. "Commander," he said, his voice barely a whisper, "the humans are discussing something called crushing the competition and destroying the other team. They speak of killer moves and taking no prisoners." Thekros felt dizzy. These Deathworlders were planning some kind of massive gladiator battle where different human tribes would fight to the death for the entertainment of their species. "Sir," said the communication officer, "we are getting another message from Captain Hyunwoo." The screen showed the human's face again, still wearing that frightening smile. "Hello again, friends," Captain Hyunwoo said. "Everything is ready for tomorrow's show. We have gathered our finest warriors from across the nation. The competition will be fierce, and I promise you we'll see displays of human ability that you will never forget." When the message ended, the bridge was silent, except for the quiet sounds of fear from the crew. Finest warriors, Thekros repeated slowly. Fierce competition, displays of ability. Dr. Veltar was shaking so hard he could barely operate his equipment. Sir, I recommend we move our ship to a safer distance. If these humans are capable of treating mass combat as entertainment, there is no telling what they might do if they decide we are enemies. Thekros nodded. Move us back to the edge of their star system and send an urgent message to Confederation. Command. Tell them we may have found the most dangerous species in the galaxy. As the alien ship moved away from Earth, the humans below continued their peaceful preparations, completely unaware that their guests were convinced they were about to witness the most brutal display of violence in galactic history. The day of the demonstration arrived. Commander Thekros and his crew watched their screens with growing horror as 80,000 humans gathered in the massive stadium. The noise they made could be heard even through the ship's sensors. To the aliens, it sounded like the war cries of an army ready for battle. Sir, Dr. Veltar said, his voice shaking, the humans have divided themselves into two groups. They wear different colored markings, red and blue. Thekros nodded grimly. Tribal warfare. They are going to fight clan against clan while their people watch and cheer. Down in the stadium, Dong-hyun put on his red soccer jersey and laced up his shoes. As the team captain, he felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. The whole world was watching today, including aliens from space. He wanted to play the best game of his life. Remember, he told his teammates, play hard, but play fair. Show them what human sportsmanship looks like. His teammates nodded and cheered. They had trained for months for this match. None of them knew that the aliens watching from above thought they were preparing for a fight to the death. The whistle blew, and the match began. 22 humans ran onto the field, chasing a single ball. To the aliens, this looked like a massive pack hunt, where the hunters competed with each other for the right to kill the prey. They're moving so fast, Dr. Veltar whispered, watching the players sprint across the field. My scanners show they are running at speeds that should tear their leg muscles apart. Thekros watched in shock as the humans threw themselves at each other with no regard for their own safety. When two players collided while chasing the ball, the impact force was enough to break the bones of most alien species. But the humans just bounced apart and kept running. How are they still alive? One of the crew members asked. Then Dong-hyun made a sliding tackle. He threw his entire body across the grass, his legs stretched out to kick the ball away from an opponent. Both players crashed to the ground in a tangle of arms and legs. The impact created a cloud of dust. Dr. Veltar's medical scanners went wild. Commander! The force of that collision should have killed both of them. But as the dust cleared, both humans stood up, brushed themselves off, and shook hands. Dong-hyun was even smiling. The aliens watched in absolute terror as the two warriors who had just tried to destroy each other acted like nothing had happened. They're showing mercy to defeated enemies, Thekros said slowly. This is how they treat combat. They fight with killing force but spare the losers. The crowd's reaction made everything worse. 80,000 humans screamed, cheered, and waved their arms in the air. Some of them painted their faces with war colors. Others held up signs with aggressive messages like "Crush them" and "No mercy." The spectators are encouraging more violence, Dr. Veltar reported. They want blood. At that moment, Hae-won and her cheerleading team ran onto the field. The aliens watched in complete shock as these humans performed what could only be described As a war dance, HFY threw herself high into the air, spun around 3 times, and landed perfectly on her feet. Her teammates formed a human pyramid, balancing on each other's shoulders in defiance of gravity and common sense. "Commander," Dr. Veltar said, his voice barely audible, "that female just performed maneuvers that would break the spine of any rational creature. And she's smiling while she does it." HFY led the crowd in a chant. We will rock you." She clapped her hands above her head and jumped with each word. The crowd joined in, creating a thunderous noise that shook the stadium. "Rock you," Thekros repeated. "They're promising to crush their enemies with rocks." The soccer match continued, and the aliens watched more impossible things happen. Players used their heads to hit the ball, risking brain damage for no clear reason. They fell down, rolled, and jumped back up like injury was meaningless to them. When one player accidentally kicked another in the leg, they both laughed about it. "Sir," said the ship's psychologist, "I'm beginning to understand. These humans have evolved on such a dangerous world that they no longer fear pain or injury. They've turned survival skills into entertainment. The most terrifying moment came when a player was knocked unconscious. The aliens expected the match to stop while they removed the body. Instead, medical humans ran onto the field, checked the fallen warrior, and helped him walk off on his own legs. He was back in the game within minutes. They heal so fast, Doctor," Veltar whispered. "Or maybe they just ignored damage that would kill us." The match ended with the red team winning by 2 points. The aliens expected the losing blue team to be executed or banished. Instead, both teams gathered in the center of the field. They hugged each other, traded their colored shirts, and raised their hands together while the crowd cheered. "Post-battle ritual," Thekros said. "The winners are taking trophies from the losers, but allowing them to live." Captain Hyunwoo's voice came through the communication system. "I hope you enjoyed our soccer demonstration, but that was just the warm-up. Now we'll show you something really exciting." Dr. Veltar's skin turned so blue it was almost black. "Warm-up? That brutal combat was just practice?" "Next," Captain Hyunwoo continued, "we have a martial arts exhibition. Our fighters will demonstrate the combat skills that humans have developed over thousands of years." The screen went dark, and the aliens sat in stunned silence. They had just watched humans treat deadly combat as a casual game played for fun, and now they were going to see what happened when humans actually tried to fight. "Sir," the communication officer said quietly, "should I send a message to Confederation?" "Command?" Thekros nodded slowly. "Tell them we have found a species that has weaponized entertainment. Tell them that these humans are so dangerous. They turn acts of war into recreational activities. And tell them—" He paused, looking at the peaceful blue planet below. "Tell them we may need to evacuate this entire sector of space." As the aliens prepared for what they believed would be an even more horrific display of human violence, the cheerful humans below were simply setting up for the next fun event in their cultural demonstration, completely unaware that their guests thought they were watching the most terrifying species in the galaxy at play. Tae-young stepped up to the microphone at the center of the stadium. His voice echoed through the massive arena as he spoke to both the human crowd and the alien observers in space. "Ladies and gentlemen, and our new friends from the stars," he announced, "please welcome our martial arts champions who will demonstrate the fighting techniques humans have perfected over centuries of practice." In their ship, the alien crew heard the translation and felt their blood turn to ice. Fighting techniques perfected over centuries meant these humans had been at war for hundreds of years. They had turned killing into an art form. "Sir," Dr. Veltar said, his voice barely a whisper. "They're bringing out their elite warriors now." Commander Thekros watched the screen as two humans entered what the computer called a cage. It was an 8-sided metal structure that trapped the fighters inside. This was clearly designed to prevent escape and ensure that only one warrior would survive. Quan Ho and Yun Sik faced each other in the center of the octagon. Both humans looked calm and relaxed, which terrified the aliens even more. These were creatures so used to deadly combat that they felt no fear before a fight to the death. "The human in red shorts has killed 23 opponents," Dr. Veltar read from the human broadcast. "The one in blue shorts has killed 31. The aliens did not understand that 23 wins and 31 wins meant victories in sporting matches, not actual deaths. To them, these humans were mass murderers who were about to add to their body counts for entertainment. Jiwoo, the referee, checked both fighters to make sure they followed the rules. The aliens watched in horror as he explained the legal ways to kill your opponent. They did not understand that he was actually explaining safety rules to prevent serious injury. "Fighters," Jiwoo said, "remember, no strikes to the back of the head, no eye gouging, and tap out immediately if you feel you're in danger." The alien translation system turned this into, "Warriors, remember the forbidden killing techniques are reserved for real battles. Use only the approved methods of execution, and surrender immediately if you realize you are about to die." The fight began, and the aliens watched their worst nightmares come true. Quan Ho and Yun Sik moved with deadly precision, each trying to hurt the other using techniques that would be considered war crimes in most civilized worlds. Quan Ho grabbed Yun Sik's arm and twisted it behind his back, applying pressure to the joint. The aliens' medical scanners showed that just a little more force would break the bone completely. But instead of screaming in pain, Yun Sik simply adjusted his position and escaped from the hold. "How is he not injured?" Dr. Veltar asked in shock. "That technique should have crippled him." The fight continued with moves that made the aliens question everything they thought they knew about physics and biology. Yun Sik wrapped his legs around Quan Ho's neck and squeezed, cutting off blood flow to his brain. This was a killing technique that should have made Quan Ho unconscious in seconds. But Quan Ho calmly worked to escape, showing no panic even as his face turned red from lack of oxygen. When he finally broke free, both fighters smiled at each other and continued the battle as if attempted murder was just part of the game. "Sir," the ship's psychologist said, "I think these humans might be immortal. Nothing else explains how they can survive these attacks." The crowd's reaction was even worse than during the soccer match. Humans screamed for blood, chanted for violence, and cheered every time one fighter hurt the other. Some held signs that said, "Finish him," and "Make him tap." So Young, the sports commentator, provided analysis that the aliens' computers translated as tactical advice for optimal killing techniques. "Notice how he's controlling the distance," So Young said. "He's looking for the perfect opportunity to land a knockout blow to the head." To the aliens, she was teaching the audience how to murder their enemies more effectively. "And there's the takedown," So Young continued as Quan Ho grabbed Yun Sik's legs and brought him to the ground. "Now he's in top position, perfect for ground and pound." Dr. Veltar nearly fainted. Ground and pound sounded like a torture technique where the winner would beat the loser against the floor until he died. The most horrifying moment came when Yun Sik managed to grab Quan Ho's arm and hyperextend the elbow joint. The sound of stress on the bone was audible even through the alien scanners. Any rational creature would have screamed and begged for mercy. Instead, Quan Ho calmly tapped his free hand on the mat 3 times. Immediately, Ji Woo stopped the fight, and both warriors stood up, hugged each other, and shook hands. "The submission signal," Dr. Veltar said in a voice filled with horror. "The loser surrendered before the winner could execute him, and the winner showed mercy." But what happened next broke the aliens' understanding of reality completely. Medical staff entered the cage to check on Quan Ho's arm. The aliens expected them to treat massive trauma and broken bones. Instead, the medics simply moved the arm around, asked Quan Ho a few questions, and declared him fit to continue. "His arm should be destroyed," Dr. Veltar said. "The joint was hyperextended beyond any safe limit. How is he still using it?" Kyung Min was the next fighter to enter the cage. The aliens watched as he faced an opponent who was much larger and stronger. The fight was short and brutal. A single punch to Kyung Min's head sent him crashing to the floor, completely unconscious. "He's dead," Dr. Veltar said. "No creature can survive that kind of brain trauma." But as they watched, the medical team rushed in, checked Kyung Min's eyes with a small light, waved something under his nose, and helped him sit up. Within minutes, he was walking out of the cage under his own power, talking and laughing with his friends. "Impossible," Thekkeros whispered. "Absolutely impossible." Final fight featured techniques that the aliens couldn't even classify. Humans twisted each other's bodies into positions that should have broken every bone. They applied pressure to joints, choked each other unconscious, and struck vital points with surgical precision. Yet every time, the loser simply tapped the ground and the fight stopped, with both warriors walking away unharmed. Captain Hyunwoo's voice came through the communication system again. "I hope you enjoyed our martial arts demonstration. These are just some of the basic fighting skills that human children learn in school. Now, for our final presentation, we want to show you our extreme sports. These are activities we do just for fun." Dr. Veltar collapsed into his chair, his skin now a color that had no name in their language. "Basic skills that children learn," he repeated, "and they have something even more extreme than this." Commander Thekkeros sent an emergency message to the Confederation fleet. "Request immediate evacuation ships for all populated worlds within 100 light-years of the Sol system. We have encountered a species that teaches systematic murder to their young and considers ritual combat to be entertainment for families. They are beyond any threat we have previously classified." As the aliens prepared for what they were certain would be the most horrific display yet, the humans below were happily setting up equipment for activities they considered relaxing weekend hobbies, completely unaware that their observers were convinced they were watching demons from the deepest pits of warfare demonstrate their casual relationship with death. Sang-woo walked to the center of the stadium with a big smile on his face. He was excited to show the aliens what humans did for fun in their free time. As the head of the Extreme Sports Federation, he had chosen the most impressive activities to demonstrate human creativity and courage. "Our final demonstration," Sang-woo announced, "will show you the activities humans enjoy when we want to challenge ourselves and feel truly alive." In their ship, the alien crew heard these words and knew they were about to witness something beyond their worst nightmares. Activities to feel truly alive could only mean one thing. These Deathworlders had become so used to surviving that they needed to actively seek death to feel any excitement. Commander Thekkeros ordered all non-essential crew to leave the bridge. Several crew members had already suffered mental breakdowns from watching the previous demonstrations. Dr. Veltar was barely conscious, his body shaking with terror. "Sir," the communications officer said. "Should we warn the Confederation Council now?" "Not yet," Thekros replied grimly. "We need to see how far their madness goes. The Council won't believe our reports unless we have complete evidence." Gunwoo appeared on the stadium screens, standing at the base of a tall cliff face that rose high above the arena. He wore no armor, carried no weapons, and had only small metal tools hanging from his belt. The rock wall in front of him was completely vertical with no obvious handholds. "Free solo rock climbing," Gunwoo announced cheerfully, "is when we climb mountains using only our hands and feet. No ropes, no safety equipment, just human skill against nature." Dr. Veltar managed to lift his head. "No safety equipment? He's going to climb that cliff with no protection?" Gunwoo began to climb. His fingers found tiny cracks in the rock that seemed impossible to hold. He pulled his entire body weight up using just his fingertips. The aliens watched in complete horror as he moved higher and higher, knowing that a single mistake would mean certain death. The fall from that height would kill any known species instantly, Dr. Veltar whispered, and he's doing it for fun. Halfway up the cliff, Gunwoo paused to rest. He hung from one hand while he adjusted his grip, smiling and waving at the crowd below. The spectators cheered and took pictures, treating this suicidal activity like it was normal entertainment. "They're encouraging him to continue," Dr. Veltar said. "The crowd wants him to keep risking his life." Gunwoo completed the climb and stood at the top of the cliff, raising his arms in victory. The crowd went wild with cheering. But the aliens' relief was short-lived because the demonstration was far from over. Yunji appeared on screen next, standing on top of a tall building in the city. She wore simple clothes and running shoes. Behind her, the city spread out like a concrete jungle filled with deadly obstacles. "Parkour," she announced, "is the art of moving through urban environments using only our bodies. We treat the city like a playground." Without any warning, Yunji ran toward the edge of the building and jumped. The aliens screamed as they watched her fly through the air toward another building. She landed, rolled, and immediately jumped to the next building. She treated deadly gaps between skyscrapers like small puddles to skip over. "She's using the city as an obstacle course," Thekros said in disbelief. "She's running and jumping between buildings that are designed to kill anyone who falls." Yunji continued her demonstration, leaping over railings, swinging from construction equipment, and sliding under barriers. Every move she made was designed to test the limits of human death. Yet she made it look easy, even fun. "Sir," Dr. Veltar said, his voice breaking, "I don't think these humans understand that they can die." But the worst was yet to come. The screen changed to show Jun-Ho standing at the open door of an aircraft flying high above the stadium. He wore a special suit with fabric wings attached to his arms and legs. The wind was so strong it would have thrown most aliens out of the aircraft instantly. "Wingsuit flying," Jun-Ho shouted over the wind, "is when humans strap on artificial wings and fly like birds. We jump from aircraft and navigate through narrow spaces at high speed, just for the thrill of it." Dr. Veltar made a sound that no alien language had words for. It was the sound of complete mental breakdown. "He's going to jump out of that aircraft," Thekros said slowly, "voluntarily, for entertainment." Jun-Ho leaped from the aircraft and immediately began falling toward the earth at incredible speed. But instead of screaming in terror, he was clearly enjoying himself. He maneuvered through narrow canyons, flying just meters away from deadly rock walls. The fabric wings kept him from falling straight down, but one small mistake would smash him into the rocks. He's treating terminal velocity like a game, Dr. Veltar moaned. He's playing with gravity itself. The demonstration continued for several more minutes as Junho performed maneuvers that defied all logic and reason. He flew through rock formations that left only centimeters of clearance on either side. He skimmed across the surface of a lake at speeds that should have killed him on impact. Finally, he opened a parachute and landed safely in the stadium, laughing with pure joy. The crowd gave him a standing ovation. 80,000 humans cheered for someone who had just voluntarily thrown himself out of an aircraft for fun. That was when Hye-jin, the human cultural liaison, noticed something was wrong. She had been monitoring the alien ship's communications and realized that their translation systems were not working correctly. "Wait," she said, speaking directly to the alien ship. "I think there's been a misunderstanding. Are you interpreting our sports as warfare?" Commander Thekros was so shocked by this question that he could barely speak. "Sports? You call these activities sports?" "Yes," Hye-jin said gently. "These are games we play for fun and exercise. Soccer is a ball game where two teams try to score goals. Martial arts are disciplined fighting techniques practiced for fitness and self-defense. Rock climbing and extreme sports are hobbies that help us challenge ourselves and enjoy nature." Dr. Veltar lifted his head with great effort. "Games? Exercise? Hobbies? We do these things because we enjoy them," Hye-jin explained. "They help us stay healthy, make friends, and feel good about ourselves. No one gets seriously hurt because we have safety rules and medical care." The bridge of the alien ship became very quiet. Slowly, the terrible truth began to dawn on the crew. "Sir," Dr. Veltar whispered, "I think these humans are not violent at all. I think they're so incredibly durable and strong that activities which would kill us are just normal exercise for them." Wu Jin, Earth's ambassador, appeared on the screen with a kind smile. "I hope you enjoyed our demonstration. We wanted to show you the diversity of human culture and our love for physical challenges. These activities bring our communities together and help us appreciate the amazing capabilities of the human body." Commander Thekros sat down heavily in his chair. Everything suddenly made sense. These humans were not warriors or killers. They were just so incredibly adapted to their death world that they had evolved beyond the physical limitations of other species. What looked like suicidal violence to the aliens was actually normal recreation for creatures tough enough to survive on Earth. "Ambassador," Thekros said carefully, "we need to discuss something very important. The Galactic Confederation has never encountered a species quite like humans. We would like to offer you full membership in our organization, along with our highest diplomatic status." "That's wonderful," Wu Jin said. "We're excited to make friends throughout the galaxy." But privately, Thekros was already writing his report to the Confederation Council. Recommendation: grant humans every possible diplomatic privilege and trade advantage. Never, under any circumstances, make enemies of these creatures. Any species that considers near-death experiences to be casual entertainment should be treated with the utmost respect and caution. They are not violent, but they are so far beyond our physical capabilities that they represent a completely new category of life. Suggest immediate reclassification. Humans are not just Deathworlders. They are the beings who made a death world, their playground. As the alien ship prepared to leave Earth's orbit, the humans below continued their normal lives, completely unaware that they had just become the most respected and feared species in galactic history simply by demonstrating what they did for fun on weekends.